talking about credibility now, young people. I mean, you're running for office. You've tried to galvanize a lot of young people to get involved in the system, both as running for office and also just registering and getting their PVCs and all of that. Like I asked the former guest I had, I don't know, as a politician, if you've interacted with members of your party, do you feel like things are going to be different now? Are you still confident, in the system? Especially because a lot of people, like you said, people have traveled, people are not going to come back again next weekend. Even people who are in town are just sort of like, you know what, they've decided what they want to do. If they're going to treat us like this at 2:30 a.m. in the morning, who knows what's going to happen next week anyways? Do you still find that there's faith?
So here's my challenge to people. I think that, first of all, we need to take a step back. And let's not carry this everything is terrible, let's forget about it mentality, because we are moving forward, right? So our elections are a week away now, and we're not completely sure who's going to win in most races, from the president all the way down. That's the sign of a democracy that's getting to a good place, that there are actually oppositions, and that nobody, 20 years ago, in pretty much every African country, you knew that it was the incumbent at every stage, in every office, that would win. There was not even a question. Now, we're down to the elections, and people still don't know who's going to be president, who's going to be House of Reps. People don't know that. So I think that those are signs that our democracy is growing. But at this stage in our democracy, we have to understand that it's going to be tough. It's going to be a battle. It's not going to be easy. Nobody's just going to come and hand us the country that we want. And so the challenge for us now is that despite all of this frustration, this is the time to push harder. This is the time to hold on stronger. This is the time to hold on to faith. This is the time to say, you know what, we will be here. We will die there, but we will not die in Jesus' name. But this is that time, and I like to draw comparisons to moments in history. So Martin Luther King and them, they gave their lives for black people to have the right to vote. Martin Luther King sacrificed with his life. Malcolm X his life. Rosa Parks sat at the back of the bus, even when the entire country was against her, to say, I'm just not going to move. And so we need to understand that this is no different. If the young people in this country really want the country to be better, we have to be resolute in our decision to stand firm, to stand tall, to speak out, to agitate, to push for a better country, to push for a different crop of leaders. Now is when it is important more than ever, because these challenges will come. They will try to disenfranchise us. They will try to hold us down. There are people who are getting paid off of the system being as it is. Do you think they want you to register to vote? Do you think they want you to know where your polling unit is? Of course not. So that we've got to take that personal responsibility and say, this country that we want, we will fight for it. We're not talking violence, but we're saying this is the time. This is the time to stand firm.
Speaking of personal there now, just on a bit of a more personal level with you now. I mean, you're young, you're running for office. A lot of people are, quote unquote, afraid of politics, especially within this age bracket. How has it been for you so far? What has been your experience being in politics?
My experience...
Because they're coming from a completely different genre. You're in entertainment, you're a musician. How has it been?
Here's the thing. On the one hand, it's kind of been like a tale of two sides. On the one hand, it's been challenging, it's been difficult, it's been stressful, it's been tedious. It's been one of the most difficult journeys I've ever embarked upon. But on the other side, it's been one of the most rewarding things that I've ever done, and I would do it again in a heartbeat. It's enlightening. You learn more about people in 3 months of doing politics than in some years put together. I've learned so much about people in the grassroots, people who you think are your friends who aren't, people, do you understand? Like you just learn so much. It's such a learning experience that I'm wiser now than I was 3 months ago, which is insane because it's not like I was foolish to start with. But I've just learned so much in this period. And part of what I'm trying to do is to inspire other people. Inspire you. It's time for the brightest amongst us to step up and come to the table, because who are we waiting for? They're not coming. There's no Messiah person that's going to come, Messiah president that's going to turn Nigeria around in an instant. It doesn't work like that. If we want the country to turn around, then we've all got to get involved. And while I tip my hat to the people running for president, I'm trying to inspire credibility to run for some of these other offices, House of Reps, State House of Assembly, Senate, local government chairman. Let's infiltrate the system because those ones are infinitely winnable. We can win those. We can infiltrate government, we can find lifelines, we can work together, we can build capacity.
We can't all be presidents.
You know, leave that one first. Let the people that fight for that. But let's start getting some of these other things. You know, the problem in Nigeria, I've said this many times, the problem in Nigeria is from the top down. But personally, I believe the solution is from the bottom up. So let's get people, the brightest among us. It's time for us to come to the table. And that's what I'm trying to inspire. It's not just about me, it's about our entire generation and putting the right people in office.
Someone once told me that you go into politics, like you've said now, and you actually sort of understand how Nigeria works.
Yeah, you get a much better understanding.
I believe you agree with that. Being in politics now, are you more hopeful for the country or are you more worried?
I'm definitely more hopeful because I see it in the faces of my volunteers. I see it in the faces of the communities where we've gone to. We've combed the length and breadth of Etiosa. We've gone from Ajah to Obalende to Ogombo to Jakonde to Osapa, London to Ikate to Elegushi to Lekki to you name it, we've been there. Shango Tedo, Langbasa, and community after community, you're seeing, especially young people or mothers who have strived so hard to put their children through school, and the child graduates and they still need to give the child 1K for transport because the child can't find a job. So even in the grassroots, in the communities, people are fed up. And people are saying, why can't we have actual representation or leaders who actually care? Why can't we have something different? Why can't we try things a different way? And that's what gives me hope.
So you're more hopeful?
I am hopeful. You know me, man. I'm a man of faith, man. I don't, you know, I'm the kind of guy that doesn't take no for an answer. I'm optimistic, I'm hopeful, and I know that what we're doing right now is we're planting a seed, and I believe that it's going to turn this country
Let's
around.
take it back to INEC now quickly. Now, what are your expectations? What do you want to see from INEC in this week coming up? Because there's people have said, okay, one of the issues was the lack of communication all the while.
Yeah.
Maybe, do you want a daily update? What are you charging from them? You know, with regards to how this election should look?
I would say, number one, empathy and compassion towards their ad hoc staff, towards their coppers, towards the people that really are the ones that help this thing run. Spare a thought. You have so much of a budget. Just take care of the people that are working, number one. Number two, communication. The Nigerian people deserve that. There's no way that it was at 3 a.m. that they realized things were wrong.
Well, that's what the chairman said. He said up to 2 a.m. he was sure the elections were still.
You know, listen, he's the chairman, so I wasn't in the room with him. But what I mean is, if only you can communicate better, keep the Nigerian, because we're, you know, at the end of the day, we're partners with INEC. You know, the INEC is independent of any party and it's on the side of the Nigerian people. So treat us like partners. Communicate with us, keep us in the loop of how things are going, give us regular updates, and, you know, communication, I think, you know, communication and just seeing the job through. You know, if we need to quickly go and hire some logistics experts, let's go and do that. And let's get this thing, it's time for us to fix this system. Let's get it fixed. Let's get compassion, let's get communication, and let's get expertise in the building, and hopefully we'll be okay.
I know the INEC chairman was asked yesterday by one of the party representatives about, you know, the fact that campaigns are stopped. So nobody can campaign anymore. You can't beg for votes and, you know, through all the stage passes that they've been holding. That also adds to the worry about apathy. You know, I don't know, what are there plans? What sort of things are politicians going to be doing now? Or is it something that shouldn't even happen anymore? Should we just...
You know, it's tough to answer that, because on the one hand, you're thinking, man, okay, one more week, I got to get, especially for people who are in unknown parties like myself, I got to make sure people remember my logo. But then on the flip side, I'm looking for money to activate my 400 payroll, my 400-person payroll now. So if they said campaigning could continue, it would be only the major parties with the biggest bank accounts that would survive it, because they're the ones that can afford to campaign now. Nobody else can, because we spent everything thinking it was going to happen on Saturday. So on the one hand, I understand what INEC is trying to do by being fair to say, well, even though we've postponed, you don't get any extra time to now flood the system with money. Yeah. On the flip side, some of us need that extra time to say, hey guys, here's my logo one more time. You got to remember this. So it's tough. I don't, you know, I don't really know the easy answer to that. You know, as politicians, even we are saying, okay, we can't campaign. Does that mean I can't say anything on social media? Does that mean I can't like a comment? Can I reply somebody that posted for me? You know, so but these are all things. This is what we need.
Needs to clarify,
we need the clarification.
Well,
we need communication. We need like. Let's do this thing together. We're not fighting INEC. We're not fighting anybody. We're all trying to build this democracy. We're all trying to fight for it. We're all trying to get a better country. So let's work together on doing that.
Thank you very much, Olubankole Waddington. Good luck with your elections.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate you.
All right.
All right.
Let's go!